Okay, this is construction 7, a square. You can see that I kind of started it and made a mistake, so I had to start over. So the goal is to make a square, and a square has 3 key properties. Key property number 1 is a square is a parallelogram. And remember what that means. It means that opposite sides are going to be parallel lines. So like in a square, those lines and those lines, they're parallel. Key property number 2, it's a rhombus. All 4 sides are the same length. So when you're measuring each of the 4 sides of a square with a ruler, they should all come out to be the same. This is what sets the square apart from a parallelogram and rhombus. A square, and only in a square, all 4 angles are the same. You can say congruent if you want. So if you're looking at a square and you know your squares well, each one of these 4 angles in the inside is 90 degrees. That's what that little box means. So go ahead and pause the video, take notes, copy down the steps, and unpause when you are ready to go. Alright, let's do this. So this is kind of the culmination, the hardest construction, if you will. Let's create a perpendicular bisector on this segment. So I like this one because it uses a construction. This is the first construction we did. So the way you construct a perpendicular bisector is you place your needle at one side, open it up so it's a little more than halfway, and then you draw an arc. Remember to keep your compass slanted to the side, move the paper. It just makes your arc come out a little better. Okay, once you do that, don't let the compass slip. Don't let it slip. Keep it the same width. And put the needle at B. Kind of do the same thing, draw an arc. Now I apologize because the steps are down here and I didn't give you enough room. But what you can do is, let's label this guy up here. Let's call it like X. And then what we'll do is we'll draw our perpendicular bisector from X down to this point. But I'm not going to label this point because you probably have some words there. Alright. So you draw it, and let's stop a little after the line because, again, words. There's my bisector. And what you want to do is label the point of intersection in the middle C. So this is all step 1. Draw the perpendicular bisector. And what was so special about that construction is it creates a 90-degree angle, which is exactly what we need to make a square. Step 2. Place the needle of the compass at C and the pencil at A. Needle at C, pencil at A. And what you do, once you get it nice, make sure you take your time, don't force it. Draw an arc from A so it meets the line in the middle. So a lot of students will use point X, but that's the wrong point to use. As you can see, this point we want to use is a little bit more than X, and that's D. If this seems totally new, it's really not. If you rotate your paper 90 degrees, this is just a rhombus. So in a rhombus, you start with this. Step 1 of a rhombus, find C. Alright, now if you're thinking about a rhombus, what do we do next? So what we do next is place the needle on A and adjust the width so the pencil's at C. And looks good. Draw an arc above the line. So let me go right side up so the directions make sense. So keep the needle at A, and there you go. Don't let it slip without changing compass. Place the compass on D, draw an arc to the left. So compass on D, needle goes on D. Oops, sorry. And let's draw an arc out here to the left. Okay, that's the 4th point of our square. Let's call it E. And then you just connect the dots to form a square. A, C, D, and E. So connect A to E. That should say A to E and C to E. Sorry, I guess I didn't fix all the mistakes on there. Now the cool thing about a square is all the angles you just made are going to be 90 degrees. So even though we only created one 90-degree angle with our bisector, the square guarantees that all 4 of these are the same. Alright, give it a shot. Try it again. Your turn. Let's see how you did. Step 1. Construct a perpendicular bisector by placing the needle on the left side, and you draw an arc above and below the line. Now don't let the compass slip, because you're going to have to move the needle to this one and do the same thing. If your pencil's going off the page, just shrink the compass down a little bit. Make sure that it's still more than halfway. There's X, there's Y, and connect them. Here's a point where, again, common mistake. You want to avoid the common mistake. Draw the line up and up and up until it hits the top line. So a student will say, okay, here's my square. Here's point A. Here's point C, I think we called it. And here's point D. But that's not point D. You have to find D, just like you did with a rhombus. So the way you find D is you put the needle at C, pencil at A. So work on that. Make sure you get the width nice. And when you're ready, what you do is you twist the paper. And as you can see, the actual point you should be using is going to be up here. So what that does is, let's call that point of intersection D. That's going to make sure this side of the square is the same length as this side. Okie dokie. So we take AC. See, needle at C, pencil at A. And then you put the needle at D and draw an arc out to the left. Then you want to put your pencil at D, needle at C, measure out this side. It should be the same. Don't let it slip. I actually think I did this first, the last one, but for these last 2 arcs, you can do it in either order. The goal is point E. So we started with a 90-degree angle. Now we have 4 90-degree angles. Remember, a square should have 4 sides the same length. So if you made a smooshy square like this is a bad square. If your square looks like that, you know it's wrong, because you know a square, every side has to be the same length. So this one, you can see every side is going to be the same. You can get out a ruler just to verify that if you want.